Here's an exercise that I think is extremely valuable for tricep development. It's probably a precursor to doing some real heavy JM presses, because you can handle this one quite a bit heavier than JM presses, because it takes so much time to get the elbow inured enough to handle the pressure of the JM press. And this is sort of a step in between close grip bench presses, which is a great place to start your tricep accessory work for your bench, and the JM press. This kind of bridges the gap in between those two. And this one lets you load it up a lot. And I think that's valuable. Feeling all that weight is valuable. And if you try it too soon with the JM presses, you're going to get a hot elbow probably. And that's not necessary. So a good starting place for some accessory tricep pressing for the bench press is to start with close grip bench presses and then move to the floor press. And that's what we're going to do today. A tricep version of the floor press. People bench from the floor too. That's how the bench press was started. People laid on the ground and benched. They didn't have a bench, they just floor pressed. But what we're going to do today is we're going to move the grip in to just outside of the end of the knurling. So about 15, 16 inches. We'll take a grip there. And then we're going to just take the bar out and keep the elbows at 45 degrees or less. We don't want the elbows flaring because we don't want this to be a shoulder exercise. And we don't want it to be a chest exercise either. We want it to be a tricep exercise. So we move it in, that accentuates the triceps. We keep the elbows in, that takes the shoulders out. And we're left with not a lot to press from other than our triceps. So this exercise is an accessory exercise that's going to help you press. Now, the key to making this a tricep exercise is to not generate the force from your chest. The elbows come to the floor, stop for a moment, and then think to yourself, don't bench it out, arm it out, tricep it out. Let's do a rep here, Jax. Ready?
1,
On 3.
3.
Go. Say yes?
Yes.
All right. She's just going to set her elbows down. She's not worried about mimicking. And then drive up with the arms. Do 3. Sets them down, rest them completely on the floor, and then drives up, not from the chest or shoulders, but from her triceps, from her arms, and a good hard lock, rack it, and set it down. So what's important here is to not make this a bench press on the floor. So move the grip in, and don't worry about the line. Notice I didn't say anything about the groove or the line. Let it follow whatever naturally follows by keeping the grip in and the elbows at 45 degrees. Set the whole back of the arm on the ground. One way to cheat at this is to bounce off the ground. We're not even going to demonstrate that, but you understand that taking it down and bouncing it off the ground, number one, is probably not a good idea for safety. And two, you're going to get that elastic recoil and that impact bounce from the bottom, and you're not going to be generating strength from the bottom. And so we also had her lift her hips up, because that's going to that will emulate the same position on her neck as a good arch would, without her having to try to somehow finagle an arch on the floor. So all that did was, go ahead and just raise your hips up again. All that did was move all the weight up to the shoulders where it should be. And she doesn't have to try to get an arch or anything like that. But this is going to be more, this will help transfer the groove into that decline press position, which we want when we're benching. That's why we get that arch. Don't want to bench flat. So that's the basic exercise. And what we're going to do now is we're going to train through an entire session, and we'll put we'll edit in some of the highlights of whatever happens today. And it's just that simple. Don't bounce the bottom. You don't have to necessarily pause it. I think pause reps are good, but you don't have to necessarily pause it, but don't bounce it, and don't short stroke it. Another thing you can do is kind of feel the backs of your triceps hit the ground, and the elbows don't quite make it down, and you drive it out early. So you're going to get partial results from doing something like that. You want full results, so do it the full way. This is already an abbreviated motion, so you don't need to abbreviate it anymore. A simple floor press, heavy, heavy, heavy loads. You want to make it different than your bench press, so don't follow that same groove and don't follow that same bar path either. I think that's all you need to know about this. It's super simple exercise and super effective. So we'll do some training and let you see that. Up, out. Now over tighten. Get this tight. Tight. Snap it up. That was outstanding. Now, that's it. So you see how we got to get tight? You see how important it is? Tight. It'll let you put the force where you want it. It's a much better set. Good, rest. Good. Do you understand why that's so important? That tightness transfers to moving the bar much, much better. See, there's the problem. When you shift like the sands, you don't have any base. You don't have anything solid to when you doubt yourself, there's nothing. When you doubt yourself, what do you have? You have nothing to stand on. Even if you're wrong, you have something to stand on if you don't doubt yourself. And you can fight from, even if you're wrong, you can fight. But if you have nothing to stand on, if you doubt yourself, it's so easy to push one way or another. So you have to believe in yourself, even if you're wrong. You can always learn to be right later. You can learn from people and get righter and righter. But you have to believe. Doubt is the worst.
One, two, three.
Okay, now tighten up extra tight, extra firm, and then do your reps. Now stay extra firm. The weight just flies that way. That's it. It's right where it needs to be because you're tight. Boom. One more. Very nice set. That's good. Follow through. You didn't commit at the beginning. You didn't commit at the beginning, and so you stalled. You took it for granted. So when you start, as soon as you start, you think about the finish. You're trying to bodybuild. You're trying to squeeze those arms and feel the muscle. You don't remember to stay tight because that's your secret. Your secret is your tension. All right. Make this one the best one. Finish on a strong note. Show yourself how much more you have. This isn't your best. Show yourself you've got more. Tight.
Yes.
Bring it down tight. Bring it up quick. Now once you commit, up to the top. Good. Once it starts, up to the top. Boom. Much better. Good. As soon as you commit, finish it. Good. Snap this last one out. As soon as you start, get it done. Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. 1, 2, up. All right. That was good. That was about a perfect workout, right?
Right.
You failed on the last rep of the last set. You can't ask for much more than, that's right where you needed to be today. You didn't need any more than that today. It was a good start.